absolutely not true.
My man literally just disappears.
How did that guy dematerialize like that?
Sweeping us up like ants in a colony. Organize the wealth into a socialist economy. A way of life based off the common needs. And all my comrades is ready, we can spread the seed. And all my comrades is ready, we can spread the seed. And all my comrades is ready, we can spread the seed.
There's a smarmy little weasel out there who was at the protests and made what I would consider an extremely untruthful, I wouldn't even call it inaccurate, because I think inaccurate kind of implies a degree of being mistaken. I believe that this is an extremely disingenuous, bad faith interpretation of what the protests were like in Chicago, the ones that I attended, Johnny attended, many of our friends that stream, many of our friends that mod, and many even people from our chat were there in person. So I think it's important. I think that we have a duty, a responsibility to set the record straight on some of the misinformation and disinformation that is in this video. So I would like to take time and Philbo, maybe we'll make this into a YouTube video, like debunking Nick Shirley. We'll put his name in there because he has like 300,000 subscribers, and maybe we can like clout shark off people that search his name. Not only just a clout shark, but also hopefully they can hear from people that were actually there and are not incredibly disingenuous what it was actually like.
Yeah, so we should totally hijack his popularity. I agree, and set the record straight.
Yeah,
he doesn't deserve it.
Debate me, you coward. Debate me about
let's set it up.
How great would it be if he actually wanted to do that? Also, I actually spoke to him. He interviewed me, and I'm on one of his live streams, but he only asks me about fentanyl. So we'll play that at the end, too. I'll show you. I'm actually on this guy.
I have a feeling that this dude is too much of a coward to debate you, honestly.
And also, we have like 400 YouTube subscribers and he has like 300,000. It would be you know what I mean? Like, but hey, if he's not a coward and he wants to actually have, some of the
what does he got to lose? That's the thing. All these people are like, oh, your channel's not big enough. Nah, bro, that's a fucking excuse. Because literally you have nothing to lose. Like, if you can't embarrass someone with 400 followers, then maybe you shouldn't be doing the debate, which is kind of like why you're not doing the debate in the first place.
If you're going to fail a debate against a dude with 400 subscribers versus like your like thousands or whatever, like what the fuck are you even doing then? Why do you deserve it?
I mean, that's why they duck this shit, is they have stuff to lose. They have like a reputation to lose.
Well, also, this person came up to me. He was around when we were like the area where we saw the Mike Pillow guy. And honestly, it was just him dressed exactly like that. And like a dude just holding a camera. I thought that this dude was like small peanuts. Like I didn't even realize that had hundreds of thousands of subscribers. So like when he came up to me, I was just talking to him. Now that I know what his actual game is, I think that I might have been a little too intelligent for him to actually interview me, because he didn't interview me for very long. And I don't think that the answers that I were giving him were going to fit the narratives that he's trying to give out. I think it was like an interview that he was like, I can't do shit with this. Let's get out of here.
He's too smart.
You guys can watch that later. We'll show that at the end, but we'll see. You guys can give your own judgment on that. Very low.
How much are people getting paid?
Freedom News.
Got spit on.
Got spit on. Pause it real quick.
Tens of.
I wanted to read his disclaimer.
Oh, okay. Yeah. This video is based off of my personal opinion, research, and experience at these protests. I do not have any receipts to prove any protesters have been paid. Should have just stopped right there. I invite you to watch this video with an open mind, and you can think for yourself on the topic and formulate your own opinion. What is this, fucking Fall the Cabal? What the fuck does any of that shit even mean?
Yeah. Make up your own mind on the based on evidence I don't provide.
Do your own research.
The problem is that this guy has, a disingenuous narrative that he wants to put forward, and he'll sensationalize it and clickbait it and everything like that. And then, has to do a disclaimer like, actually, I have no evidence of this whatsoever. So to the hundreds of thousands of people that will be watching this, and if you go to the comments, he's probably poisoned the minds of some amount of people as well.
Oh,
so we don't
for sure.
100%.
And I also like part of why he gets this much attention on this kind of stuff is
People want
like
to do that.
people agree with him already, you know.
Yeah.
So like he's like validating their already preconceived notions. But like
He's pandering
I
to the
think a more
cognitive-
important thing is like, bro, I don't give a fuck about your personal opinion. Your personal opinion, especially when you go on to admit I actually don't have any evidence to support my opinion. You like literally are just admitting you have a dog shit opinion. Like
Right.
I don't believe in this like, oh, I don't believe in this snowflake attitude of everyone's opinion is like equal and everyone, you know, can't be, you know, just because you have your opinion means you get to voice it and no one is like allowed to like call you a fucking moron for holding that opinion. Like if your opinion is wrong because their facts don't support it, and you still hold this opinion, you have a bad opinion.
Yes,
like
you're wrong.
You're wrong.
It's
Exactly.
certifiable wrong.
You're harming people. You're harming.
Yeah.
Like, and the worst part is, like, I love that he used the word receipts explicitly, right?
Yeah.
Instead of evidence. I do not have any evidence. I have no solid anything to prove any protesters have been paid. That's what you should have used, not receipts, evidence. I have no evidence.
Yeah.
It's the internet, man. Gotta have the receipts.
Tens of thousands of protesters gathered in Chicago to disrupt the DNC. But this video is not about the DNC, it's actually about how many of these protesters were not protesters, but they were actually paid protesters. Many of the people you will see in this video are innocent protesters supporting the cause they believe in, but many of them have been paid to cause chaos and disrupt the United States. In this video, I will take you into these protest organizations and show you how these protests work, connecting the dots for you, and I will also be attacked and chased out multiple times for asking too many questions. This is going to be fun. Let's start at the bus that bring these protesters into the city. And they are all arriving on these buses. They are not just protesters, they are paid protesters by people like George Soros, or countries, even such as countries like Iran and Iraq, are giving money to these groups of protesters.
Iraq.
First of all, okay, it is a joke to think that Iraq, of all places, that is finally rolling out like a fucking a tax, right?
God,
like an income
dude.
tax on people, is going to be paying for fucking protesters in the U.S. Second of all, Iran, right, ain't got the fucking money. There's a reason why they keep trying to do like the nuclear power plants and everything. It's because they are embargoed and sanctioned for the last 60 fucking years. So the idea that they're able to like pay U.S. protesters is fucking insane, right? And George Soros, dude, I've been getting told this fucking lie, this fucking myth, this fucking story for the last
This
like
anti-Semitic myth.
anti-Semitic, thank you. Anti-Semitic fucking lie for the last 10 fucking years. I think at some fucking point, right, I would have found out how to get paid to do this shit, and I would do it all the fucking time and get paid. But I
They should
can't.
pay Ree and Johnny to protest.
Like,
I support this.
you think
One
that
of
like
us-
leftists aren't going to pass that shit around like a fucking like, you know, tax loophole? Are you out of your fucking mind? Sorry, what were you going to say, Pat?
You know, also it's like you said, he has no evidence of this. He's just simply saying like, you know, actually a lot of these people are paid for by George Soros. You see that bus over there? That's the evidence, apparently, that I can link that bus to George Soros and Iran and apparently Iraq also.
I think this is just
Iraq.
This is somehow weirdly enough, he's touched on like anti-Shia sentiment. He's probably not even really aware of.
It's like a broken clock being right.
Here inside the United States to cause havoc here inside the city of Chicago. Regardless, it is actually crazy that there are paid protesters here in America
But,
to cause
dude.
havoc inside the country of America.
Your
Go on.
fucking sentence makes no sense.
Well, and not only that, I'm just like curious, like, it's like, did he believe in a spontaneous grassroots movement of anti-Vietnam War protesters?
Probably not.
I mean, according to the logic he's presenting to us, and we're gonna just take his on, you know, as good faith as we can. And what else could we assume that he believes is that those people were just like all local residents coming out,
Right, because he's kind of like taking out any kind of like, you know, social agency of people that are outraged about things. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, there's no way that this could be, you know, a spontaneous, you know, reaction, an organic reaction from a population. This has to be somehow engineered by George Soros, as if strikes and protests have not been something that have existed for hundreds of years and in this country, and that they are very much just an outgrowth of collective disgust
Well,
at a
that's
specific act.
partially why, like, even leaving George Soros out of the narrative, it's still an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory because it's like
At its root,
evoking like these agents behind the scenes causing chaos. And it's like, they said the same thing about civil rights protesters that these people were Judeo-Bolsheviks.
Right.
Even in the '60s, way past that being like,
yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean that too, but. I mean, that's still, it's like just that narrative of like these subversive elements in our society are being paid by some shadowy cabal.
Yeah, cultural Marxist Jewish entity.
We should apply for grants from the Open Society, dude.
Yeah. And also, our checks must have got lost in the mail, too, because this trip was actually kind of expensive for me.
Yeah, dude. I don't know how I'm going to financially recover from this, but it's going to be a minute.
That whole thing was fucking expensive. So if I could, like, have, like, a voucher, I have a bunch of footage of us there, so like, I could prove that we were there, and I think we deserve payment for that.
Yeah.
So if somebody could get George Soros on the line, or potentially Iraq, if anybody could reach out to the...
See, that's what this guy doesn't actually understand about Open Society Foundation grants is they're not like upfront money, it's a reimbursement.
Right.
And it's only like 50% too. It's really not even that great of like a grant structure. It's kind of shitty. You got to pay for it all up front and then maybe you get reimbursed if you get approved.
Just to show you how expensive this costs, just a city, just alone, all these bikes right here, there's probably upwards of 200 bikes right here, are all police officers. And if you think that each police officer's at least...
And they're free, man. They're just giving them away.
That's thousands of dollars per hour the city of Chicago is having to pay just because of all these paid protesters. And now we are getting to where all these protesters are at. We're going to start talking.
So the city of Chicago had to hire many police officers. He says the words, all because of paid protesters. Not because the DNC is in town, not because Kamala Harris is speaking, not because Barack Obama is there, not because Joe Biden is there.
Hillary fucking Clinton is there.
If it wasn't for these...
Adam Kinzinger.
There could be literally not a single protester that showed up, and they would still have a absurd amount of security in the city. There could have been no protests. There could have been no war. There could have been no issues in Israel and Palestine. Do you know what kind of security it demands to have all of those people in one place for the DNC?
Well, even more to your point, Pat, they do this kind of shit for sporting events or concerts. What the fuck is he talking about?
He's never been to a fucking Eagles game.
Yeah, this is literally the first time he's out of his fucking mom's basement or some shit. Like, what the fuck is this? This is cops being at public events is so normal. Yeah. Sorry, I'm talking over you, Pat. He's a Mormon?
He's a Mormon. That means that this man, right? Me having my morning cup of coffee to him is sinful. He can't have coffee.
He had the premarital relations that I engage in with my girlfriend.
Right. Or all of the other gay shit that I've done in my life. Whatever. I was going to make fun of him for the fucking like soda shit, right? Have you ever heard of this stuff? Where like Mormons are all about like, I forget what the fuck they call it, but it's like soda with like heavy cream or some shit.
What, like a root beer float type thing?
Italian soda?
Like a root beer float?
Yeah, they basically instead of using coffee, they use soda. Like all the things that you would add to like a cup of coffee, like cream and half and stuff. No, like they can't have coffee. They can only have soda.
I'm just saying though, like when like you ever have a root beer float or a Pepsi float or whatever, and
it's
breaks
not
down.
like a root beer float or a Pepsi float.
I'm just saying, cream in a soda is not necessarily a bad thing.
I'm not trying to say cream in a soda is necessarily a bad thing, right? It's creamer. Like
to me, this sounds
like half and half.
Yes.
Isn't the issue?
It's not
caffeine though.
It's not. Yeah,
the issue is caffeine. Are they doing caffeine in the soda?
Look, you're asking the wrong guy about why it's not allowed or why soda is the loophole to coffee because coffee is for some reason evil. It's like they can't have like a hot caffeinated drink, but then it's just like, why not just drink iced coffee? I don't fucking know. I don't understand Mormons. All of that shit, ironically, as a practicing Muslim, is weird to me. Okay? Mormonism makes no fucking sense to me. All right?
I don't know if you're not the only one there on that one about Mormonism not making sense.
It's like, no, Onyx, I am not a Mormon authority, but I do know that this guy probably has some pretty weird shit.
Well, if he decides he wants to debate us, we could start off soft by getting some clarity on this issue.
Yeah, we can press him on that.
A large majority of these protesters don't even know why they are protesting, so we're gonna go in, see what's going on, ask these guys why they're protesting, if they even know why they're protesting, and then we're gonna try to figure out how much money they're getting paid to protest. What group are you guys with?
Palestine Solidarity.
Palestine Solidarity?
We're out of Michigan.
Out of Michigan. So you guys drove all the way in from Michigan?
Pause it real quick.
Took a bus.
Go back. When they say we're out of Michigan, he doesn't have a comma to signify the we are. What's that? What the fuck is that called? Jesus Christ.
Contraction. It's an apostrophe.
It's not a contraction, is it?
I think it is.
Right? You're saying we are, and you're shortening it down?
Yeah. I'm just saying he put were. AI. He probably said AI do the fucking thing anyway.
More than likely.
Palestine Solidarity?
We're out of Michigan.
Out of Michigan. So you guys drove all the way in from Michigan?
We took a bus.
Took a bus. We've heard that there's like groups that fund it. Are you guys funded by Iran or like other countries?
So you guys like funded by Iran or something? You know, like let me just cut to the chase
also,
here.
He like slipperyly said that kept edited the part where they're like, oh, we took a bus, and it's like. You think it's like people take buses. Michigan ain't that far from Chicago. You know what I mean?
People aren't allowed to move, Patrick. There's no freedom of movement.
Chicago's on Lake Michigan. You know what I mean? Like it's like there's only so many ways that you can get there.
You guys flew there. You guys took a plane.
That's right.
Yeah. Soros. We have the premium membership at the Soros Foundation. So
I definitely did not fly economy.
I got to fly Frontier Airlines.
I definitely did not have a child. Basically on both ends assaulting my wife, with the chairs going back and forward and kicking the back of the chair or anything like that for that whole flight. Mormonism is a cult.
Awesome.
I don't mean that hatefully, rhetorically, sarcastically. I've lived by them with my wife and in Shook, and after we learned their history, the religion was made by a well-known snake oils salesman that took off like Scientology. After conning so much, he conned people by saying, God gave me a golden book, only I can see it, but you can transcribe my words.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Shirley.
And
I'm just a YouTuber.
I can't talk to. I don't know who you are, and I don't know.
We have just heard that like some protesters get paid. Is that true that some of the protesters get paid here?
Have a great day. Bye.
But is it true or no? Well, the first attempt went in.
Why is this guy against jobs? That's what I want to know. These people are job creators, and he's trying to take away people's jobs, hardworking American jobs.
So they are getting paid something, but they...
From like a job that they have in Michigan?
No. I mean, he's like, yeah, they are getting paid something just because like they realize that you're like a smarmy weasel hack YouTuber, and they were like, oh, I'm not gonna let my voice be used as a propaganda tool for this guy. So I don't trust you to speak to you. So now he's like, oh, they're obviously getting paid something, but they won't tell us what.
And like, let's be real, like. That interaction probably shouldn't have been used at all because they clearly were like, please, we actually don't want to talk to you. We didn't know who you were. We don't want to talk to you. And so like whatever information he is viewing, he's like, yeah, and I get that he's a piece of shit YouTuber and most YouTubers don't do this kind of thing, but it's like they kind of didn't consent to you putting them in your video, and you're just like exploiting them because you're trying to fucking make this narrative. Like, pretty greasy behavior.
Wording them in a way that is absolutely like antithetical to what they even said to you. Like,
well, even to what even
all
like
you had there was a couple well-meaning people that took a bus in, not like some kind of chartered private bus. I would guarantee it. They probably took a fucking Greyhound from fucking wherever they were in Michigan over to here, over to Chicago, and now they're just sitting there like. Never said they were being paid, just felt uncomfortable by your weird and awkward presence and interrogation. And now it's like, they're definitely getting paid. They're getting paid.
Well, probably because they can spot from a mile away. It's like, oh, you're spinning some kind of anti-Semitic weird fucking like, Soros shit. Like, please get the fuck away from me. Yeah, please get the fuck away from me.
And like, I will say too, maybe they did come on a chartered bus, but it's like totally within the realm of possibility that like a local DSA chapter was like, hey, we're pulling money together to rent a bus, like it's not an impossible thing. People do that kind of shit all the time. It's like a really normal thing to do, actually.
Exactly. And he's like just imposing all of this like nefarious malice and conspiracy to it that just is completely unfounded. And he says it itself, it's unfounded. So like please juxtapose in the beginning where he says, I actually have no receipts or evidence of this. And then compare that to the language that he's using. How confident is all the language that he's using in between this based on the fact when compared to that he has no really credible evidence of it?
Well, they're clearly getting paid from somebody. It's like, yeah, dude, they probably just like have a job back in Michigan.
They're using PTO to be here.
Right. Like what?
I used to pay PTO.
Agreed. I keep hearing you're allowed to film anyone just about anywhere in public. Yeah, America's fucked up. Also, Sam, thank you for 22
They're
months.
not. This is different though. Like they were kind of like explicit. Don't film me, and it's not like. And he still put them in their his video anyway. It's not like it was like an incidental. They're in the background, and they can like.
But also,
they pretty much said, "Please leave us alone." And he was like, "Well, this is what that means. Not that I need to leave them alone, but that they're being paid." Like. That's what he took from that interaction.
If anybody wants to go and downvote and comment on his video, feel free. But then also in your comment, make sure that you put that subversive history debunked this video.
That's right. And say that, like, the host, Pat, is willing to debate him.
Debate him or bare knuckle box him. His
Either
choice. No, it's not either or. It's one of the two. He only has those two choices. He has to pick one of those two things.
Words or no words.
I say we do like they do the chess boxing, except it's
What's up, good?
it's a debate boxing.
At like the same time.
I hope he picks boxing for shirtless Pat. That's right.
Sick if he did. What if he's just nasty? What if he's just been training Muay Thai since he was like 8 years old? He's never known, like, he's never had a girlfriend. He's never done drugs or anything. All to punch a bag and fucking kick a tree in his backyard.
He's like, all right, if you want. He's just shredded.
Beats the dog shit out.
That's the power of Mormons.
Obviously, when a price came up, they did not want to tell us. We headed over to the park where the protesters were gathered, and
Because there isn't one,
to
dude.
evacuate for the night, and this happened.
You must immediately disperse and leave the immediate vicinity now by taking the following
Salty Tommy,
designated
thank you.
and available route. If you remain in this immediate vicinity, you will be in violation of the law and subject to.
As the police were giving their orders, this lady came in and started yelling at the police.
But this is a public park and we're not doing anything. Have
Holy
some
shit.
pride in your heart and let them just be. They're not.
We actually met this woman.
To her immediately after I interviewed the rabbis, she came up and was talking to us right before the cops started boxing in the. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, like
Yep.
she
Yeah.
like fucking has been organizing in that city for like, I think she said something like 20 years or some shit.
Yeah.
So
But go ahead. He
yeah,
says some
that's-
interesting things about her
Oh,
specifically.
God.
Doing anything. I want to go home to my kids. They want to go home to their family. Everybody want to go home.
This lady is the same lady I met at the first presidential debate in Atlanta, Georgia. And now from Atlanta to Chicago, it's about a 10-hour long car ride. And for her to be the leader at this protest and also be the leader at the protest in Atlanta makes me wonder if this lady is a paid protester. And she
Pause
also
it
did
real
the
quick.
exact same thing in Atlanta.
What is Charlie
Weird,
Kirk
because-
one?
You know who
Sorry,
else
go
is
ahead.
both in Chicago and Atlanta?
Charlie Kirk.
No, him.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Why is he there?
Both of those places.
Who's
Also-
paying this guy?
Also, for some reason, he showed it as a car ride, as if it's not an hour and 45-minute plane ride that anybody can get for like $100. You know what I mean? Like,
Especially to Atlanta. Flying to Atlanta is one of the cheapest places you can fly
Right.
to. It's like a Southwest hub. Like it's super cheap.
First of all, he's at all these protests, so maybe he's an agent provocateur of some kind.
Yeah.
Weird. He was there at both of those.
Of some kind. He definitely is. This
I
is
know.
exactly what this
Of
is.
some-
I know, but I'm saying, he's not like he's attributing something conspiratorial to someone for being in the same places that he is, and it's like, oh well, it makes me think about what your potential handlers and
Actually,
financiers and
how do we
direct-
know you're not hiring this person to be at all these places?
Right,
Or she's
right.
made it into both of your videos. How come?
Right.
How do we know you're not hiring this crisis,
That's right.
quote unquote crisis actor?
We don't
who
have any
you have the one
receipts
who
for it.
We don't have
It's
receipts.
possible.
But
I think it's true.
We have the same
I
amount of
100% believe it's true, even though it's I have no evidence for this.
we have the same amount of receipts that he has for his claims. So we can
Right.
pretty much
Yeah.
say that and pretty much whatever else we want because he has no actual evidence. And so like, the classic.
Yeah, I think Donald Trump is paying this guy actually.
The classic philosophical, cliche is that what can be asserted without evidence can be dismissed without evidence. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
exactly.
you know, this guy is actually being paid by this woman or the other way around.
Yeah.
Either way, right.
They may be in cahoots with one another. That's all I know.
Right.
They might be trying to, you know, they might both be some kind of double agent, fucking romantic,
triple agent even.
romantic couple that goes around and makes YouTube content.
That could be his mother for all we know.
I have no evidence to say that she is or she isn't, but at this point, my vibes tell me that that's his mom.
Right.
And I will not do any sort of real research in order to like find out the answers to these questions that I might have.
He converted to Mormonism to rebel against his proud Muslim mother. That's the headcanon that I have. I have no reason to believe otherwise, and nothing's going to change my mind. He's white. He can go wherever he wants. She's not allowed to travel unharassed or unquestioned. Well, that's because she is visibly Muslim. Him, on the other hand, right, he just might not have the genetics to grow a beard, right? He might be out of, we don't know. How are we supposed to know?
Evidence. I have no receipts.
I have no receipts. He could
But
be.
Sam, who's the right-wing version of George Soros? It's probably like the Koch brothers. I think the Koch brothers are like they're the ones that are behind.
I mean, and like let's also be real. Like way more tangible evidence of doing like harm in the world than like George Soros.
Yeah,
like
like
you can have a
Heritage
problem
Foundation.
with George Soros being a billionaire, but like the Koch brothers have like the Heritage Foundation is the Koch brothers. You know.
Exactly.
To where she screamed and yelled and tried to get everybody riled
Yeah,
up.
fair red wizard.
And the organization here is actually pretty crazy. They got thousands of dollars worth of signs and equipment for any protester that shows up here so they can be a part of the movement. Are you guys paid protesters here, or you guys come in?
We're not paid protesters. I just got out the military about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And since I've been home, I've seen people on the street, veterans on the street, you know, the city's.
We also saw these guys. I don't know if you recall.
I do. When we were marching, they walked by us, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But also, he went up. I don't know if you saw. He's like, "You guys getting paid?" And all of them were just like, "No, we're not." What the fuck?
Well, of course they would say that. You know.
The country's gotten worse. And you've got these kids out here, these people out here. They're, of course, protesting something that is noble. It is important. However, we have a big problem in our nation with our people in our communities. We have to focus on that before we can focus on anything else.
Yeah.
It's important to be, care about other people. As a Christian, I believe in that. But at the end of the day, our people are in need. They're in need of support. And if we just abandon them, we're no better than the politicians that are doing it.
Should we put America first and then work on the other stuff after?
Then a large group of
Pause it real quick. It's
Of
also
course.
you're kind of like misunderstanding the whole thing because like if you're like, oh well, we can't be like focusing on stuff happening in Palestine because we have problems here. It's like it's our money and our weaponry and our intelligence. You're 2 steps removed from the actual thing that you seem to be caring about. Like you can guess what? You can care about a ethical way of using taxpayer money and also care about Palestinian people. Turns out you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone if you care about both of those things. So I have news for you, buddy. You might be very excited to hear that those 2 issues are one and the same.
Right. I may require a little bit of connecting the dots, but you were in the military, so, I'm sure you can
He
figure
said military 2 weeks ago, too. So
Right. I'm sure you can figure that out. If you can figure out how to navigate the fucking VA, I'm sure you can certainly navigate how these 2 dots are connected.
How funny would it be if he wasn't in the military?
Oh, he's just like stealing
Yeah, right.
valor. Oh, hell yeah.
Put on
yeah.
sunglasses. and
well,
American
I don't know.
flag.
The vibes from that guy were interesting. I don't even know if they were like actually pro-Palestinian protesters.
No, I don't think they were. They seemed like America First type people,
Yeah.
but.
Well, that's what he said. Do you think about it? It's like America first or whatever. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So.
Also, it was hot as fuck for most of these days. I don't know how he was wearing that leather jacket.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
protesters moved to Michigan Avenue, a busy street in downtown Chicago.
What does miso mean?
Self-made abortion.
What are you guys dressed up as?
I don't want to talk to anyone. Thank you, though. I'm just a pill.
So what are you guys protesting for?
We are medication abortion. I'm the first pill, and this is the rest of the regimen. We're Miffy and the Misotones.
Oh, Miffy and the Misotones.
That's right. We're a
Aw,
cult group
ladies
here
are
to spread
cute.
the good word about medication abortion, about how safe, effective, and legal it is all over this country.
So you guys are pro-abortion?
Really.
Okay. At what month you can...
Sir, I am dressed as an anthropomorphic abortion pill. What do you fucking think?
I kind of laid out
You're
real
for
concise
abortion.
Yeah, I kind of just laid out real concisely what this whole thing is. I'm a little bit media literate, and I've actually been practicing this spiel. The fact that you couldn't put 1 + 1 = 2 together, and it was like, I need this clip for my. Did you notice it cuts right after he asks that too? He's like, all right, got it.
Like, are you okay? Are you having a heat stroke, or do you need water? I think you need to sit down, sir. You're not making any sense.
Yo, how do dickheads like this get 300,000 subscribers and we have 400?
I don't know.
What are we doing wrong?
We're too smart, or are people too dumb? Some fucking thing in between.
We are speaking against the hegemonic forces of society, so
we're also not pandering to like the dim-witted masses that just want any kind of like garbage, like
the absolute lowest common denominator of like lazy content.
You're right, Ree. The YouTube algorithm keeps us down.
That's right. We're
shadow banned.
We are shadow banned. Okay. And what we need to do is maybe do like a deep fake, right? Blockchain triple cross, totally rebrand as a right-wing channel.
M. Night Shyamalan.
Right. M. Night Shyamalan fucking like pull the wool over the eyes of the public, right? And reveal the golden fleece on the other side. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense.
Consider abortion to be murder.
Thank you so much. You can move on.
I'm like curious.
Thank you.
Curious.
Appreciate
like, is there is there a day in the
planet
where there's a child that there's considered murder?
Okay, bye.
I thought you were there to find out about paid protesters. Why are you trying to debate?
Even got so and she spilled.
We don't need your 2 cents, cause shutting up is free.
At what point is abortion?
We don't need your 2 cents, cause shutting up is free.
Sir, you're the one that's standing close to them.
Also,
she was just speaking to you in a debate.
Yeah, like to be like, I just got spit on, and he like even like prefaced it with like, one of them got in my face and spit on me. It's like, dude, you sound like a child. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you wanted to harass people, you wanted to stick a microphone in their face, you wanted to not listen when they said that they would prefer not to speak to you anymore. Then when they got loud with you, you turned into just sniveling little victim. Like, I can't believe I just got spit on. You just spit at me in the face.
I mean, it really is snowflake behavior to not even to like, have this little meltdown, but to not even like actually engage and listen to people, you know, like it really is just like childish, very like weak-minded behavior to be like this. Like if you really can't like hear anybody out, this person, this creator, Nick, whatever the fuck, can't listen to people. Like,
dude,
it's not
Nick Shirley
him and Nick shithead. I don't give a fuck because like he literally like he's not gonna, if he sees this, he's gonna be like, oh, you know, he's literally gonna be like these haters, and like that's it. That's all for him because like if he's not being validated, and the same thing for his audience, then it doesn't matter to him, which is why he has a problem with people like this.
Which is why he needs to be in a safe space, right? He needs to just go back to Utah, right? Go drink like your soda floats or whatever the fuck it is you people do.
I guarantee his channel's a fucking hug box too. Like there's nobody coming into his chat and like fucking trying to derail the conversation with like bullshit. Like they all love his shit because they're all fucking smelling the same shit.
Right. Their own shit.
2 cents, cause shutting.
I don't even see any spit.
There's no visible spit.
No visible spit.
We're here promoting this medication abortion.
Yeah, and I have nothing against it.
Asking an aggro question.
You're lying.
Yeah.
You have nothing against it?
And after asking a few questions, the leader of this protest.
Oh, we're just going to cut away when the woman is asking you a question?
Yeah, dude.
I don't know. It seems awfully convenient on the editing room floor, if you ask me.
This pill decided to kick me out, and a man came after me and tried to hit me with a sign.
Dude, what are you doing?
He did like, wait, can you go back? Can we see the alleged sign hit again? Can you just show me the severity of that sign hit one more time, please? I want to see that.
Pill decided to kick me out, and a man came after me and tried to hit me with a sign.
Dude,
tried to, so he didn't. So this man just like anytime anything moves close to him.
It's like it didn't even look like. I think they were trying to block his camera.
Right.
I think they were trying to move the sign in front of his camera.
Unless, Pat, it might just be that his bones are made of glass. right?
Honestly, it's really sad how hard he's having to try to make it seem violent. Like,
well, dude, let me tell you, we were there both of these main days. There was like almost no fucking like the little things that happened, the little pushing that might have occurred and things like that. Like this was not a violent protest. There was no
harder shit at an E-Town Concrete show. Okay,
yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I mean, it's just like the way that he's trying to like to puff up the violence, like because he took a trip out here and probably thought it was going to be this content fucking gold mine. This guy was just in England. You know all the shit that's going on over in England. He was just over there filming all that shit. He probably thought, oh man, all these crazy Antifa leftists are gonna fucking burn down the DNC. And it's like everyone just kind of walked in a relatively orderly path and respected like the boundaries that were like allotted to them by the city, and then peacefully protested according to constitutional rights. And he's like, the rioters then descended upon attacked me
paid
signs.
Antifa militias, dude. Like it's
Chicago
not even just
is on fire. It's burning to the ground.
He's making the claim that this is like professional organized violence. All right. Like, let's just keep that whole focus in mind too, as like the quote unquote receipts he's providing, you know, for us to make our own mind up about, you know, don't match this. These people are violent professional militants.
Somewhere between like, what is it? 5,000 and 10,000 people conservatively, right, showed up to this protest. How many people actually got arrested? Like fewer than 50?
Dozen, like, okay. Chicago DNC arrests. Because like I saw one, okay, at least 55 arrested after clashes with Chicago police. So that's 55.
55.
It looks like I'm not seeing anything. Like this one says 13, but that was 8 days ago. So at most.
Yeah, but they were arrested by the Democrat mayor police, you know, Blue City police. So like they were essentially let go right away.
I'm seeing 55. Oh no, this one says 72. So like I'm not seeing kind of triple digit arrests or anything like that. I mean,
and we all know when you're arrested by Democrat city cops, they are just giving you hugs. They just give you hugs.
But yeah, I mean, like, you know, for the amount of people and the amount of, you know, the civic cause and everything like that, to only have like between 50 and 75 people arrested is like actually kind of remarkable.
Right.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Why are you
what are you doing?
I didn't know who that was.
But still, regardless, treat a woman with respect.
Other people's
I'm asking them questions.
What questions?
I asked them, at what point do they consider abortion not to be right? Because I'm actually curious.
Why?
Because they're promoting abortion pills.
Are they?
So I'm asking, at what point is abortion?
The size up, like, yeah, I could beat the shit out of this guy. Like,
yeah,
I could absolutely.
What are you doing here?
I could absolutely take this kid's lunch money right now.
I think they answered your question by telling you to f yourself.
Really?
Yeah, right?
I think you should.
And because
really?
Ooh, I think you should. He can't actually repeat the line because he's a fucking Mormon.
He can throw that back like, no, you actually.
No, you. Whatever you say to me bounces.
No, you, my good sir.
Like, Jesus, fuck.
Next day, thousands of protesters were then bussed into the city of Chicago, as you can see here on this flyer. And
can you pause that real quick? I just want to check.
Go back.
Yeah.
This far back?
No, were you not watching? There's a thing that he puts up.
That he flashes up really quickly.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Chicago Coalition for Justice in Palestine. I just kind of want to see what this is. They have a Facebook group, which you know.
Let's see. Islamic Community Center of Illinois, Mosque Foundation, Orland Park Prayer Center, Palos Islamic Center, the Mecca Center, Islamic Center of Naperville.
These are all like. Naperville is a Chicago suburb. What the fuck, dude? These are people like who live in the Chicago metro area. They're not like from far away, dude.
Are you just
stupid?
I literally
How stupid can you be? Like literally no effort at all was done into like look at any of this. You found one flyer about buses and that confirmed everything for you. Would you like to buy a bridge for me, sir? I have many for you to choose from. You can choose whichever one you want. and they're for a fucking wonderful price. And they are against Muslims too, I guess. If that helps make your mind up.
They're also against abortion. If you buy these bridges, they'll stop people from getting abortions.
Islamic Center of Naperville.
Also, this page, Coalition for Justice in Palestine, has 3.9 thousand followers. Like, it's not like some like gargantuan.
He has a bigger.
Yeah.
Books, last I checked, are not even that expensive. So it's like this man, this child is a fucking moron.
Like, these people have like so much power in the world. Like, it really does betray how insecure they are when they have to make content like this. You know, like, just to try hard to make things seem worse than they are.
Right.
It reminds me of I've been thinking a lot about the whole Muslim no-go zones conspiracy that just like totally died out and is not like a meme anymore on the right wing, you know?
Yeah. Buses, who paid for those? Iran. Iran. Can you turn it up a little bit?
Yeah.
Can you play it?
See here on this flyer, and this is just a warm-up compared to the riots at the end of this video.
I'm not joking when I say these protests are planned and organized by outside groups, as they have literally busted in people here just to try to cause chaos.
He's just using the same fucking flyer.
Also, he said just to try to cause chaos, as if there could be no other motive for Islamic organizations, political organizations within the United States to support what could be kind of considered like a once in a lifetime. Like, the DNC is not like something that happens every weekend. Like, to think that like political organizations, Islamic outreach organizations, and things like that would not have a vested interest to like, be present at such a monumental, potentially protest of the DNC. Obviously the Vietnam protests of 1968 DNC in Chicago come to mind. The fact that he's attributing it, that it could only be done to be agents of chaos,
right,
not for any kind of an earnest or sincere commitment to the cause. That's out of the question. That can't be part of it.
Right.
Yes,
and I don't know why. Maybe it's to try to disrupt what's going on here in the United States. And we're going to start talking to some of these people about as far as why they come here. Do you believe that any of these protesters here are getting paid?
This is absolutely not true. It depends. People are coming in from all over. People are coming in from other states as well. So it's kind of hard to gauge like a specific distance for you.
So what do the green hats mean?
Sorry, we can't talk to the press.
What the fuck was that cutting, dude?
Yeah. What the fuck was up with that weird cut?
He makes the guy say it depends. So like he says, is anybody protesting paid protesters? And the guy goes, no, that's absolutely not true. Then it cuts and goes, it depends. But then he's clearly talking about how far people came. That's what the question is. Here, play it one more time.
Where people are coming in from other states as well. True. It depends. People are coming in from
United States, and we're going to start talking to some of these people about as far as why they come here. Do you believe that any of these protesters here are getting paid?
This is absolutely not true. It depends. People are coming in from all over. People are coming in from other states as well. So it's kind of hard to gauge like a specific distance for you.
I need to see the raw footage at this point, because I want to know who's paying him to make this, because this is like, that was blatantly disingenuous, like cutting out things out of context.
Right. So the guy says that's absolutely not true. And then it clips. There's a dude standing next to him that completely disappears.
Right.
Yeah.
If I could just show that one more time. Like, watch this guy just literally disappear. And
Donald Trump is definitely paying this guy.
And then he goes, it depends. But then the guy goes, there's people come from other states, so I can't really tell you a distance. So that question was obviously, how far away did some of these people come? And the guy's like, I don't know, it depends. Some people flew in, some people bust in, some people live here. I can't really say. But he clipped it in a way that made it sound like the guy said, oh, it depends if people are getting paid or something like that. It's really, really disgusting what he just did right there.
Fucking trying to fuck with the playback speed here just because. All right, we want that.
It doesn't even have to be.
It's absolutely not true.
My man literally just disappears.
How did that guy dematerialize like that? I don't know.
And as someone who edits, I know exactly what he did, because he probably did it very lazily. He just found the first good bit of silence to cut into that it made sense,
Okay.
Make like one sentence out of this. But it's like, man.
But you can tell they're talking about two different things. He asked him about paid protesters. He says, absolutely not. And then let's listen to it one more time. Put it on regular speed so we can hear him. The guy's talking about distance. He's not talking about if people are paid or not. It's very, very obvious. Look.
It depends. People are coming in from all over. People are coming in from other states as well. So it's kind of hard to gauge like a specific distance for you.
So what are the green
hats? Real quick. That's obviously implied that he's asking about distance. And he says, I don't know, it depends. It's hard to gauge a specific distance for you. That's how he says it, which means that's the question that he was responding to. It's so clear for anyone that like is, aware of anything, that he asked that question and then very disingenuously clip those things together.
Yeah, I find it really strange that he needs to lie so much in his video here. And it's like, yeah, this is just such a blatant lie, of like, why did you feel the need like you needed to cut your question out, Mr. Nick Shirley?
Yeah,
like,
don't call me
it
Shirley.
it's a perfectly normal question to ask somebody. It just didn't, it kind of doesn't really fit in with your whole narrative because the guy answered your other question. No, the people aren't being paid, and you have to try so hard to make it happen when it
yeah.
How do you not understand that this is code behavior that you're engaging in, sir?
That's mean.
Sorry, so we can't talk to the press or National Lawyers Guild, Legal Observers.
And what do you guys do here at these protests?
We can't talk to the press.
Yeah, we can't talk to the press.
Dang. Who's funding you guys?
Dude, they fucking told you. They said they're legal
And
observers.
remember these people in the green hats because they become very important towards the end of this video.
Do you believe that any of these protesters that are here are getting paid to be here?
So, as a journalist,
He
I
thinks
broke a
they're
story.
protesting.
Right.
He thinks they're protesting.
No,
even though they're
and
they probably are getting paid to be there because it's a part of their job to make sure civil rights laws are followed.
Yeah, but listen, he's
as a lawyer,
he has a very interesting theory about those people that he'll come back to.
Oh, okay.
In 2014, called Crowds on Demand, a guy named Adam Swart used to hire people to go flood people and treat them like celebrities, but he ended up transitioning to political events where you can hire crowds on demand to come out and support.
Who's this
political
guy? Why didn't you put his name on
say that
screen? He's
I know
clearly
or
got a
believe
press
that
badge
there are-
on.
But look what he says here. You're just let him say what he's going to say. Go back and let him say this.
And support political activists. I can't say that I know or believe that there are any people being paid to be here, but I would say that with an event like the DNC and a city like Chicago that is this large, there's a good chance that this is a very organic crowd, if that makes sense to you.
But do you believe that any of these, we've heard a lot of these people are coming in from states all around the country. We've even seen some people from this protest that were at protests in Georgia. So it makes sense that it could be, it very well could be that a lot of these people are being bussed in from other states just to cause havoc here. Do you believe that to be true?
Well, I mean, that happens just about everywhere.
The protesters have now finished all their speeches.
Did you hear the guy before that say that, I have no reason to believe or think that anyone here is being paid, and that because this is such a big thing, the DNC, and this is a big city, that most of these people are probably here organically? And then he's like, yeah, but hold on. And he stumbled over his words so much, being like, well, but they came from, is it that they're being bussed in for chaos? And the guy's like, yeah, I that, and then it pretty much just clips out.
Well, hold on. About that clip out, clearly a disingenuous clip because he was in the middle of a sentence.
He was in the opening of the sentence. He pretty much just opened the sentence with a courtesy and then was probably about to say a lot more shit. I don't know.
This is, for me, this is starting to turn more into a media analysis because it's like you're obviously hiding stuff with the way you produce this content, Nick Shirley. Like, what the fuck, dude? It's so blatant. You're no different than any CNN mainstream media shit.
Right, I agree.
Very poor job of it.
They're heading down this road in just a few moments. I cannot emphasize how organized all this is. That street was once blocked, and now the street signs have been moved, and the protesters are going to be coming down the street in just a few moments.
Pause it real quick. He's like, I can't say enough. I can't understate how organized this is. Dog, this is an organized protest. There's a permit with the city on the streets that we are allowed to march on. There are marshals from the protest organization that are blocking off certain streets and are corralling people to make sure that the march follows its intended path.
It's also the most organized city in the world.
This is but what he's saying is that he's saying that because there was blockades and then blockages and then they move it so the people get down. This is a predetermined path of protest.
Right.
This has been cleared by the city.
Right.
The reason you say it's organized is because it is organized.
Right. That's how organized in the most organized city.
Yeah.
Exactly.
By volunteers, not paid professionals.
Right.
And these protesters have their own escorts as they are here with these people that are called marshals that escort them through the entire streets here inside Chicago for this protest.
Is this new information for him?
like, so they're marshals because there is a understanding with the city. Hey, we're doing, a amendment, constitutionally protected protest here. We are not going to be violent, and we are, petitioning for these areas. Now, it becomes the responsibility of that organization to chaperone, to make sure that it stays within the limits that it's been agreed to, because if not, then the police have to get involved. Then next thing you know, the police are fucking somebody up, and then next thing you know, 3 people run in to help him. Then you have a full-blown fucking riot on their hands. The people that are in these yellow vests have a vested interest of keeping chaos at a minimum. That's why they're there. It was the same way at Black Lives Matter. If you went to any Black Lives Matter protest, there were people that if arguments started, they would try to separate it and keep it. Okay, you're allowed to walk down this main street. They keep you on that street. And also what I'm actually noticing here is that it says CJP Marshals. I believe that is the same Coalition for Justice in Palestine. So actually the CJP are the same people, that he was accusing of busing people. They seem to be the main organizers of the entire protest. They're the ones that appointed these people with the vests on to keep things in order and do actually the opposite of what he's accusing them of, which is create chaos. They are actually doing everything they can to prevent chaos.
And I think also to your point, they weren't necessarily even like appointed or selected. They volunteered. They stepped up to do this. They're not. What's that?
Most of them were cool. The only time I almost saw a fight was when these guys tried stopping a bunch of guys that looked like that were completely blacked out. They wanted to break the barrier and go into the DNC, and all of these people locked arms like this. I have footage.
That's right.
I have footage of the whole thing. They locked arms and were literally like crowding in to not let these people through because it wasn't part of the route. So they even told me afterwards that these guys are agitators. They're just here to cause trouble. So it's like, it's the exact opposite of what he's saying. He's saying that it's like, it's this conspiratorial organization that brought them in to burn everything and cause chaos and riot. They did the literal opposite the entire time. And I have footage.
I think, go ahead, Johnny.
I was just going to say, no matter what protest you've been to, I think even if it hasn't been okayed with the city, there are marshals there. There are people that are along the path to try and prevent anybody from disrupting the protest.
Exactly. That's
why I asked, is this a new thing for him to learn?
Well, he sees the vests and he sees the safety yellow and he's like, and the printing on them, and is like, oh, obviously professional. You wouldn't have this just as what? Clearly it's a uniform for a job. Yeah, he just has a child's brain.
Oh yeah, that's the worst for me is the whole thing, the streets were blocked off. It's all so organized. Who organized this? Who are these people that are chaperoning them? What could this all mean? You know what I mean? And it's this is just the average above board things that happen at an organized protest. This is exactly what happens. There's a reason that all the way down our path, there was police lined on a certain line and there's a reason why the police did absolutely nothing to anyone unless they tried to go that way, because the police knew ahead of time they're allowed to walk here, they're not allowed to walk over here, because it was an organized, above board, constitutionally protected.
Not media. We need you behind the banners.
Please back up.
What does it mean to be a marshal?
We marshal now.
We're marshaling.
What do you mean? What does it mean to be a marshal?
The guy said we're marshaling. Look, here it is. Go on, get back.
Here it is. Now get the fuck back.
This dude is this content is really funny to me because it's fine, your question is fine, a fine question, but obviously there's a time and a place for that question, and it's not right now. You're trying to make yourself being a fish out of water into a propaganda piece, and it just is. I can't believe it works for people who watch this. What kind of state of mind are you cultivating in your audience? It's really sad and harmful.
Have you never been to a protest before? Weren't you just in fucking England or some shit a week ago?
He was on the protester side that time.
I just Googled this, and this is the first thing that came up. I look, can you just pull this up? I Googled this one thing. This is the first thing that came up. So if you could just pull this up, because I think even where is it? So this is showing that all the way back in May, the Coalition for Justice in Palestine, tomorrow the CJP will file an application at City Hall for a permit to march on the DNC. Join us at 9:30 a.m. in support of this effort. CJP has been working nonstop for over 7 months to raise awareness on the situation in Palestine and to mobilize our community to stop the ongoing genocide of our people. The March on the DNC is the biggest and most important of all of our demonstrations. Genocide Joe and the Democratic Party will be in Chicago from blah, blah, blah. Okay, it gets cut off there. But we can see here that this organization that did all this has been working since May to get the necessary permits for this exact march. So like, if you gave me another 5 minutes, I could probably find the actual fucking permit. But like, this is just to show that, like, you know why there was such a sectioned off chaperoned area? Because it was part of the permit, dude. Like, it's not like, adding this conspiratorial conjecture on it is so harmful. And you should be ashamed for feeding this to your audience.
Right. You should just be like ashamed in general, just like as a person, for like the things that you have done and said and, you know, influenced others into believing. But that's just me.
You need a marshal or a police officer?
I can't hear you.
These marshals have no right to tell me what I gotta do here. So who does that when they come through and they break down the fences? Is that instigators or is that
whoever's ignorant?
Do you think those people are paid protesters?
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. Just to make us look bad. You know what I'm saying? We came here to put a voice out to the world. We're not trying to do nothing bad.
And why do you think those other people would be paid to come to these places and cause disruption?
To make us look bad.
So who pays for those people to come here and cause chaos?
Hey, who knows? Government.
So you think U.S. government pays for them to come
100%.
here?
Where do you think your taxes go? Where do you think your taxes go?
But you don't think it's like countries like Iraq or Iran to come?
Nah, they're with us.
You live right here. How
Pause it real quick.
Nah.
So now he's done another either completely dim-witted or completely disingenuous thing. So like I said before, there was dust-ups in the crowd by people that were accused of being agent provocateurs or agitators to make the protest turn into a violent way, much like we saw during Black Lives Matter protests. I think at this point it's like a fact of the matter that a Boogaloo Boy is the one who burned down the police station in Minneapolis. Am I wrong about that? But like, I'm pretty sure that, and like the guy that was like burning down the auto zones as well, like
the smash in the windows.
Exactly. So like when he asked them, he is referring to those people. Those two guys are referring to a people that are there to make them look bad, meaning that there is a overwhelming, organic, sincere group of protesters that allegedly the American government, to them, is paying people to come there to make them look bad. And then when asked, do you think it's Iran or Iraq? They're like, no, that's the opposite of what we're saying. Not the American. We're saying the American government is probably paying these people to make us look bad. So like, it's like, you know, I don't know if he's smart enough to actually understand that that's what they were saying, or that that's like the best he has of someone being like, yeah, there's for sure paid protesters here.
No,
just in the exact
it
opposite
rang true
way.
for him because he believes in the Ray Epps conspiracy theory.
The what?
You don't know? Oh my God!
I know it a little bit.
The right wing believes that this guy Ray Epps, who was a January 6th protester, was actually paid by the FBI to make people riot and go into it. But he was like, no, I was there sincerely, and like and then now he's like suing a bunch of people for defamation.
We live in such like an interesting country filled with such brilliant people.
Wonderful little snowflakes, them all.
Yes, precisely.
Are you up these nights?
Man, I put my dog on the porch this morning. My dog was gone. So they stole my dog, man.
These guys stole your dog?
Yeah, so one of my, I spent $10K on a English bulldog and a bully, and I put it outside and put it in, and the dog was gone.
When these people come through,
they stole my dog.
I don't know, dude. Okay.
What?
He literally found the one person who was just willing to talk to him long enough.
Fucking evidence that his dog was stolen by a protester.
Do we even have any evidence that he had a dog?
Does this dude even live here?
I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Hey, he told us up front there were no receipts in this video. You just got to make up your mind about all this shit. He didn't bother finding out. Why should you care? Look, the journalist didn't bother, okay? Why would you care?
I don't know.
My YouTube journalist. His shit's got to be botted to hell, dude. I can't believe this. People would sincerely sit down and watch this as like, oh, I'm not going to make fun of this. Are there like what, 198 other Twitch streamers making fun of this shit? Like, what the fuck?
I mean, like, I guess the only reason I think that we're even like remotely aware of it is because like he came up to us, right?
Right.
Like, there's nobody. There can't be anybody like in his comment section taking this shit seriously, right?
They all are. They all are.
You can't be that fucking stupid, right?
Everyone in his comment section is like, dude, you're a real journalist.
They're just it's not that they're stupid, it's that they're afraid, and that this validates their fear and like feeds into it and like says, no, yeah, you're right to be afraid. What's wild to me is that it's convincing still. Like, they believe in these narratives so deeply that this is resonating as like, yeah, that's my shit. I'm fire. When it's like, there's a like obvious cuts in people's sentences that cut them off from what they were saying. Like, you have to
disappearing from the fucking screen, dude.
Exactly, dude.
It's just like you can't be that fucking dumb, right?
But like, I don't know.
Not.
I've met PhDs who fell down the COVID anti-vax conspiracy. So, you know, you can be smart in one area of your life and totally batshit dumb in another one. He almost died.
I love that that's how that sentence ended.
Here, are they peaceful or do they cause havoc?
Man, they're causing chaos. They're causing problems. You see what they're doing?
They are just screaming non-stop, providing no solutions to anything. Do you believe these people even have any solutions besides stop?
Nah, they just came here to do chaos. That's what they're doing right here.
I'm so interested to hear Nick's solutions.
What does he mean that they don't have any solutions? The only solutions is stop. I mean, like, do you know what a ceasefire is? Do you know what a ceasefire entails? Do you know, you know, I think if you ask just about any person there, they would have some probably proactive things that can be said to end this. It just seems so weird to be like, they don't have any actual solutions. They're just saying to stop. And it's like, well, like a ceasefire is kind of like a legitimate thing that needs to be kind of petitioned for. I don't understand what you're even saying.
Nah, just
a
stop.
ceasefire is a solution.
Nah, just stop.
Yeah.
What's the point of the mask?
International law. Well, to spread the message. And a lot of people tend to look at something twice when there's art behind it.
Why do you think other people come here with masks? You got a decorated mask, but why do you think so many people come masked here?
Because there's something called the Canary Mission set up by Zionists where they take pictures of people and then they put them on a website and blacklist them from getting jobs or future opportunities. Yeah.
And what's your guys'...
Yeah, can't wait for that. can't wait to have an episode about the Canary Mission.
And he's like, so that's why people come here in masks. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, I just explained it to you.
That's why they do it.
Sir,
also, if you look behind him,
were you not listening?
Right behind him in this shot, I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 people that I can see without a mask. How many people can you actually find another person wearing a mask in this? Can anyone find like another person that's masked in this shot? I'm even looking at like the jungle gyms back there, and those people aren't wearing masks.
Yeah, no. This was a very like not COVID safe.
It just seems
march,
funny.
To be honest,
it just seems funny that like he's like, all these people wearing masks. Why would they do that? And there's not a single mask in the dozens of people that could be seen.
Because we've all given up on caring about COVID, even though it is a very legitimately real thing that is still harming hundreds of thousands of people every year.
He's just trying to make it out that there's some kind of spooky conspiracy about wearing masks.
No, that's his dumbass take. I'm coming at it from like a legitimate.
And that's what I'm refuting. That's
yeah.
Message of Joe Biden, Kamala Harris.
That they're spending billions of dollars all the way over there when their own people, American taxpayers, could be using that same people ending poverty, feeding the homeless, and paying for schools and a bunch more things instead of killing kids all the way and bombing hospitals and stuff like that. There's way better use for the money.
I went back down to the protest and one of the organizers all of a sudden started yelling at me for getting too close to the main people.
Let me see yours, bro.
Let me see your credentials. Get the fuck out of here.
Are you press? Yes. Well, let me see if you're legit.
Yeah. Well, let me see yours. Let me see your credentials, bro.
No. Dude, he is literally like 21, so he is a stupid child still. But this is like bad. This is like elementary school level like thinking and presentation. This is why we got to fund our schools in this country. I'm telling you.
See now, this dude was probably actually more than likely homeschooled. right? And like,
we have to abolish homeschool too.
We need to get rid of that.
I know that like homeschooling is like a double-edged sword, but like so long as this is a fucking outcome, I'm sorry.
Not good.
That we can't allow that to happen just like anymore. No more of this. Okay? Stop it.
I have no idea what just happened. Some guy got so mad at me for just being on the street. These people are not very nice people, especially the leaders of these organizations. Who are these people
are not very nice.
You want to know who the fuck I am? Get the fuck out of here. I fucking hate this kid.
But so those marshals are just people for the organization?
Yep, they're organized and volunteers, yep.
Okay, but they have
that's why it says marshal on it.
But they have no authority.
Secret Service officer is so fucking annoyed with that.
I didn't even hear the last thing he said. Can you go back and let it play, please?
Yes.
Marshals.
But so those marshals are just people for the organization?
Yep, they're organized and volunteers, yep.
Okay, but they have
that's why it says marshal on it.
But they have no authority.
They're supposed to control their group.
I have now identified the leader of this protest right here.
Also, like for all the conspiratorial thing, even the cop, like that is like the ostensible enemy of the protest is like, yeah. They're the marshals for the organization. They're volunteers. And what authority? I don't know, man. They're supposed to keep the group together. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even the cop wasn't like, no, you know what? Actually, they have no right. He's like, actually, if you could just listen to them, all of our lives would be a lot easier.
He gave him one of these, dude.
Yeah.
He gave him one of these. He was like, fuck, this guy is still talking to me right now.
It's so funny that even like, it doesn't matter if he's talking to like protesters, organizers, people from that like lawyers organization, the cops, everybody's like, dude, you just don't get it, dude. You do have no idea what's going on. Like, and you're just in here trying to be like, it's very scary, right? What they're all trying to do here. And the cops like, dude, they're supposed to keep the group together. That's it. I have to go. I have to
like,
go.
you need to get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
You know what sound clip I wish I had right now? You're like a child wandering into a movie, wanting to know what's going on.
I really mean it. I think it's actually more shocking than anything that not one person was like, "Are you okay? Like, are you having like a heat stroke right now? Are you dehydrated?
Yeah, right.
Dude,
you need some medical attention.
You need to like sit down. You keep asking me the same question. I keep answering it pretty simply for you.
You're wandering around kind of listless and with a 1,000-yard stare. Do you know what's going on right now? Do you know where you are, sir? Can you tell me your name?
I know that, like, you're
Can you tell me your name?
What's your name?
I know the lake effect has a strong pull on people, right, when they first come to Chicago. Like, you really need to like take it easy, all right? I'll never forget the lake effect.
How much are people getting paid to be here? Are there any paid protesters here?
Are there any
paid protesters?
No. Are you serious?
That's just what we heard on the news.
We are here for Palestine, 100%. Okay. People took off of work, took off of school. They closed their businesses in Illinois and in the Chicagoland area just to come out today and protest for Palestine.
So no paid protesters?
Absolutely not.
Now, I would like to believe that these organizations and these protests are not funded by outside sources or...
I do just love that there's been like 5 people that are like paid protesters and they're like, what, dude? Like, no, what? Like, this whole thing is about like paid protesters and like, without fail, like every person that he's asked about has been like, no.
I just don't believe him when he says, I want to believe that there's no paid protesters, when he titled the video and knew he was going to title the video Inside America's Paid Protesting Scam.
Well, and not only that, he has a thing on the thumbnail that says, I get $10,000 to protest. Did you see that part?
Yes.
We'll bring up the thumbnail again, but like, I don't think anyone said that at all in this entire.
Not yet, at least. There's still half a video left.
Can anyone keep their ears open for a $10K payment? A protester being like, I got $10,000.
Yeah, I made $10,000 doing this. This is the best protest I've ever been to in my entire life.
I wonder how much money he made doing this video.
Right? I just want to know, like, who the fuck is financing this? Because it's like, you couldn't find anybody else who's just like a little bit more like energetic, more lifelike, a little bit less like a smooth Ken doll. Like,
I hope if somebody is financing this, they're talking to him about his production values and his craft, because if it were me paying someone to do this for me and to propagate these narratives, I would be like, dude, you have to step it up or you're not getting paid again.
Right. Like there's better production behind a like obviously like a Michael Bay film, but it's like when I show you like a Michael Bay film, do you think it's real? Do you think that Michael Bay has actually constructed the giant fucking robots like battling each other?
Yeah, right? They destroy Los Angeles.
Right? Like, so I it doesn't make any sense.
Plan from outside organizations. However, what I'm about to show you here at these riots, I think will prove otherwise.
Wait, how do I get in if I want to get in?
Pause it real quick.
If you're pressed, step the fuck back.
Did you already attend the riots?
You guys protesting?
Yeah, I'm here to support.
Yeah.
Not with that camera. What's wrong with the camera?
Yeah, you're putting people's faces on it. Hey, no media, right?
Yeah, I'm setting a boundary. You have to respect that. You can't come into this space with that camera.
Wait, I didn't even do anything though.
You are though. You have the camera. He literally cannot explain it any more simply to you.
You're filming. You can film people in public, but if they don't want you right in their face, they have a right to ask you to leave.
God, I wish that I knew who the fuck this fucking child is when we were fucking seeing him in person, because I would have fucking filmed right in his fucking face.
Yeah, and I would have grilled him on a lot of things if I would have known. I thought he was just some like little startup dude asking about fentanyl. Yeah. I'll show the clip. We'll show the clip of me talking to him after this.
Okay, I'll go to a different spot, I guess. Wait, I didn't even ask any questions. Wait, are we going to try to go inside the building?
They're locked.
We're not talking to press. We're not talking to press. Well, I'm trying to join you guys. But are we trying to go in or no?
I'm trying to join you guys.
Can you please stop?
Okay, step out.
Wait, I just want to know if we're going to go inside or not.
Are you here with us?
I'll go with you guys. Are we going to go in or not? I'm trying to figure out if we're going to go inside this building or not.
Sounds like he's trying to provoke them into going inside the building.
No media? What do we hope to accomplish with this protest today?
I'm not talking.
Right now we have a line between the police and the Palestinian protesters. And here is a circle, and this is where all hell's going to break loose, right here. We got the riot squad.
All hell is going to break loose right now. It's going to be such good content. Get ready for it. This is.
I can't wait to get a video of me getting the shit kicked out of myself.
Riot is about to start.
Finally, I'm about to be fucking beaten the shit out of by a police officer.
And protesters.
Well then, I'm not trying to get hit by one of these guys. I back the blue. We got the chief police officer right here and the leaders of the Palestinian protests.
I like how he thinks that would stop him from getting clocked by the cops. Oh, I back the blue. I'm like, you're what? You press?
Look, kid, I know that you were like...
Camera?
I know you were like 12 when January 6th happened, right? They don't give a shit if you say that. So fucking dumb.
A peace agreement as to where they can march to, and it looks like the protesters are not cooperating.
And remember these guys in the green hats? Well, they also showed up to this protest.
These guys in the green hats right here, they're taking notes as to the timestamps and so that way when they have to bail somebody out, they can bail them out.
And these guys in the green hats, they take notes as to what's happening each moment inside the protest, so that way they can bail out the protesters after they have been arrested.
The protesters, and now everyone's trying to fight against the police now.
How do you know this?
Johnny, can you not hear me?
Johnny, I don't know if he can hear.
And notice how instead of listening to the commands of the police officers, the protesters fight back.
It's like Lennon said. Johnny, you need to be able to hear us.
Okay. Right. Sorry, I turned it up because people said they couldn't hear it.
Okay. Can you bring up the link I sent you, please?
Yes.
This is the organization that he's talking about. So do you want to just go in? I just want to see what this actual purpose of this specific organization is. So the National Lawyers Guild is a progressive public interest association of lawyers, law students, paralegals, jailhouse lawyers, law collective members, and other activist legal workers in the United States. The group was founded in 1937 as an alternative to the American Bar Association in protest of that organization's then exclusionary membership practices and conservative political orientation. They were the first predominantly white U.S. Bar Association to allow the admission of minorities to the ranks. The group sought to bring more lawyers closer to the labor movement and progressive political activities to support and encourage lawyers otherwise isolated and discouraged, and helped create a united front against fascism. Upon its formation in 1937, the organization aimed to provide a progressive and racially integrated alternative to the ABA. Shortly thereafter, New Dealers and civil libertarians split from the organization, making it more left-wing. In its early days, some of its members will also belong to the very scary Communist Party. The group declares itself to be dedicated to the need for basic and progressive change in the structure of our political and economic system. to the end that human rights shall be regarded as more sacred than property interests. During the McCarthy era, Attorney General Herbert Brownell Jr. and the House Un-American Activities Committee accused the organization of operating as a communist front group. Does it say anything in here? Can you just like Control F funding?
Communist to George Soros. Duh. It's pretty. What's funny is if he'd have, like, I don't know, in the midst of all this, like, taken a moment to like Google the organization, he could have probably constructed a much broader, deeper narrative that touches on history and more real things. And
so, Johnny, can you read what that part says?
The NLG is a dues-paying membership organization with income-based sliding scale rates ranging from $25 to $800 per annum used in 2020.
So you're saying that out of all the memberships that are being paid, the highest is $800. What is what is Soros? You think he's on the $800 plan, or?
Yeah, I mean,
he's got to be. He's got to be maxed out.
Is he weird?
He's got to be on the 800. No, he's like an investment, he's an investment banker. But yeah, so I mean, like, when you read about this, it seems far less nefarious than whatever the fuck he's talking about, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to us, yes, but to his audience, it actually would be really scary and fit into everything he's trying to say. But he is so lazy of a propagandist that he didn't even bother to look up the organization that would have given him a much stronger case.
He could have been like, they're communists. They've always been.
He could have been, but he was too lazy.
Hillary Clinton is also a communist with Xi Jinping.
Kamala Harris.
Well, I mean, like, either, him or even anybody that's watched any of his videos at any point could have just literally Googled protest marshal within like 2 minutes, figured out what the fuck a marshal is.
Also, I didn't Google this beforehand. For all I knew, this was funded by George Soros, and I would have looked so stupid bringing this up. But I did more legwork than he did by Googling it for about 30 seconds. But he missed an opportunity to be in like, see, this is part of the radical communist agenda. They stationed their foot soldiers to be able to like, he could have got way more hyperbolic.
Yeah, he could have been like, you see these green hat people here, they're taking these notes. You know why? Because they're going to use their communist funding to bail these people out of jail. This is the National Lawyers Guild. They're a communist front group.
Could have gone really hard into the anti-Semitism one.
Yeah.
And then when the police officers tried to arrest them for not complying.
What do you think about all these protesters out here? Are they in the right or are they in the wrong?
Everyone's in the wrong, bro. We've all sinned and fall short of the glory of God, brother.
True.
The other side of the protest are Americans, Israel.
He's not totally wrong.
He's not wrong at all. He pretty much just said to him, like, hey, bro, who are you to say who's wrong? You live in a glass house? Because you're going to be throwing no stones.
You ain't never soaked, young lad?
There's an Israeli protest here on the other side, and it is a lot more peaceful, a lot more calm, I will say. There's not as many people. The police are still here, yet there is a lot of peace on this side. And what do you think about all the protesters that
You need to blow their spot up like that,
dude. Pushing against the police and causing a lot of chaos over there?
I think it's silly that they're standing outside an empty building that's well protected and screaming at it right now. I think that they don't even.
What should they be doing? Fucking decapitating cops? Like, what the fuck do you think, like, civil unrest, like, general protest is? Like, she's like, I think it's silly that they're doing that. It's like, what should they be doing? Throwing Molotov cocktails at you right now? Like, what would be a more constructive thing to do? Like,
that is actually what she wants. She wants them to be violent against her.
All these people, like this kid saying, oh, they have no solutions, and this lady being like, why would they just get in front of a well-protected building? It's like, do you know what, like, civil disobedience and non-violent civil unrest is? Like, we gather in the streets, there's sloganeering, there's signage, and it's about raising awareness. Like, this is the alternative to guerrilla warfare, lady. So, I mean, like,
No.
I don't know why you're so confused about this.
These people
protests have been going on like this for centuries.
Yes, but these people have no understanding of that, right? And cannot be bothered to actually investigate anything, even their own positions. They cannot have any sort of interrogation into their own ideas beyond whatever surface level that they've reached that they're comfortable with. Right. And on top of that, right, the thing that would validate them the most is if this fucking moron and the idiot he's talking to, right, were physically being attacked by the protesters.
Oh, dude, he must be so mad that all the times that those people yelled at him that no one fucked him up. You know what I mean? Like
that's the one thing that they want.
I'm going into a fucking war zone. All hell is gonna break loose. This is a fucking protest of chaos. And he like got up in so many people's faces, and no one snuck this kid.
Right, and there's plenty of alleys. There's plenty of alleys around the city where it could have happened.
Or not only that, just somebody in a mask could have just crushed him and just been out, disappeared into the crowd. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like. You know, the fact that this kid didn't get hit, there was no businesses that got burned down. I don't even think businesses even got damaged. I didn't even hear about like windows being broken or cars being damaged.
Nothing.
When we were there, we witnessed nothing but like mostly orderly protest. The only thing that I saw was inter-protest disagreement, which may have been agent provocateurs.
Right.
Maybe we'll splice some of that footage into here when we're talking about that.
Anymore what they're protesting and who they're protesting against. We want to stop terrorism. We're for human rights. We're for LGBTQ rights. We're for our hostages being released. We're not for ethnic cleansing as.
So you're for LGBTQ rights. What about the LGBTQ Palestinians that are being murdered by IDF bombs?
Stop. Don't do that.
I know.
Is being done in a lot of countries in the Middle East currently, and I don't think they know what they stand for.
Why do you think they are protesting so much, and it seems like a nonstop like ambush against the police more than anything?
Yeah, it's been
Pause it, Johnny.
funded.
Would you have described what we saw as a nonstop ambush against police?
No.
I got a lot of footage of this. I was in it. I marched in both of these. I was there the entire time. I filmed good, but would you say that the police were ambushed at any moment in this?
No.
Did you ever even see any serious altercations with I'm not saying they didn't happen. I saw like even what we're seeing in this video, like the pushing is more than I actually witnessed the entire time that I was there in the 2 days that I was part of this. Did you see any serious even like altercations with police?
No.
Neither did I. Like, I'm not saying they didn't happen. People were arrested. There was probably pockets where things got weird, but like to say that this was mostly just a, nonstop ambush on police is so ridiculous. And you were there, dude. You were there. I see you. You were there. And I know you didn't see that. I know you didn't see that. This is all just more rhetoric that you're feeding your dumbass audience.
This has been coming for 30 years. They've started planning and funding this 30 years ago with the Muslim Brotherhood. You can find
Pause it, Johnny. When I was 3 years old, little did I know that there was a fund set up for me to go to Chicago 30 years later to protest for the war, the genocide that was going on in Palestine.
By the Muslim Brotherhood, no less.
I didn't know that when I was 3 years old that the Muslim Brotherhood was setting up almost like a college tuition fund for me to be able to march on the DNC and sow chaos for my Iranian handlers.
Yeah, they're probably just waiting for you to take your shahada and then you can get your reimbursement.
Yeah, that's the first step in getting your money that they put aside for you.
Honestly, if our merciful handlers in Iran could maybe get some bots in the audience to sub us up and donate some money and give us some follows and things like that, I don't know, I'm sure you guys are listening, as I know that you handle and direct my every move, but we could probably use some of those perhaps Russian bots to come into our Twitch chat and give us money. Some subscriptions would be very nice. So if you guys are listening, and I assume you are, let's push this thing. You hear us, we're advocates. Fine.
Going towards,
Ashkirst, thank you so much. There's one of our handlers. Thank you.
So do you think this is countries from the Middle East that are trying to cause, that are trying to disrupt what's going on here in the United States and disrupt the systems and corrupt us a little bit even more here in America?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is coming from the Islamic Republic of Iran,
Damn,
from
thank you.
Qatar, and probably also Russia as well. There's a lot.
I really don't think that you could point to any of these countries on a map. Although I do respect the Islamic Republic of Iran, right? The full title. There's a okay, right? But that is just.
But not only that, these people come like people like this, like the pro-Israeli people, and hey, seriously, thank you. But people are saying things like, oh, this is all anti-Semitic. Do you know how many people there were there as event? You would have to be burying your head in the sand, like some kind of large land bird, to not see like the many, many organizations that were there to protest what is going on in Palestine.
if anything, there were times where I felt like there's probably more people from Jewish Voice for Peace or, you know, a number of other Jewish congregations than
I thought you were about to be like, there's almost too many. Just kidding.
No, honestly, I thought there would be a lot more, like, you know, Muslim, you know, members of the Ummah out there, but, you know, maybe it's just what I saw. You know, I'm only one person. I can only have one perspective.
One man with two eyes. I'm just one man with two eyes.
Just one man with two eyes.
A lot of Marxist, socialist rhetoric that's coming out of this.
And why do you think those other countries?
She is not lying about that, actually. That is actually probably the most truthful thing that she said. That there was like communist flags like everywhere and shit like that. Like, you know what I mean? He was not
like, you know, fucking like anarchist flags, communist flags everywhere. A lot of organizations represented.
Pamphlets were flying all over the place.
Dude, the papers were fucking everywhere.
Pamphlets hot off the presses.
I swear, I almost choked out a trot while I was there. And you know, I'm a person of self-control, so I didn't. But I was walking, and some dude with a microphone, some trot guy giving out his fucking pamphlets, was like, you know, all workers are the same. Workers are, you know, it's the workers' issues that need to be resolved. The needs of the workers in Palestine are the same as the needs of the workers in the United States, and even the same as the workers in Israel. And I was like about to be like, do you have any idea what you're saying? Like, do you have any idea? You're saying that the needs of people in Palestine are the same as the people there. You don't think there's a unique set of needs and issues to people in fucking Palestine compared to people in the United States and Israel? Like, how can you say this with a straight face, dude? Like, and I'm a fucking Marxist. I love class analysis, but that kind of like rugged class reductionism, it's like my eye was twitching as I was walking by him. I was like, I can't believe that this guy has a megaphone.
Yeah, but like, you know,
Trotskyist.
It was Trotskyism being, you know, Trotskyism. If anything, if you ask me, this is just my personal opinion, right? And everybody in chat is free to, you know, feel whatever way that they want. And I'll say this as a communist that, like, I thought it was a little inappropriate. Well,
also, exactly, to be like, hey, free Palestine, free Palestine. Also, here's our thing. It's like, really,
newspaper.
When we're here, it should be free Palestine, period. We weren't there handing out subversive history fucking gift cards or fucking business cards and all this shit. Follow us. Like it's the same thing.
If we had them, we would maybe not be.
Well, and not only that, like this thing with Kensington for the food drive, right? I don't want to even make that like a content thing. Like maybe like later in it, but like when I go out there, I don't want to be like, hey, here's food. You know, here's my YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Like that fucking some fucking homeless guy. I'm like, hey, here's some water. Here's some stuff that you need. Here, now, if you just go to this link, and subscribe, please, thank you. Like, it's so gross. Man, you guys are terrible at marketing. You go down to Kensington. There's like 100 drug addicts wearing Subversive History shirts that I gave.
Just full zombie, like half folded.
Subscribe to Subversive History, just like leaned out all over Philadelphia. If I was a fucking scumbag, I'd do that.
Actually, yeah, that's a great way to get your name out there, dude. It's just out there, man.
If I could look at myself in a mirror,
it's like a billboard, dude.
If I could look at myself in the mirror after doing that, I would, but I can't.
You'd have to put like subscribe to Subversive History, but like upside down, like on the back of the shirt, so that way, like, you know, when
that's part of the design. You put it in different ways in different parts of the shirt. Yeah. That way, you know, you increase the likelihood that it'll be readable, no matter where the shirt is.
It's like, you know, and I say this as like an addict in recovery for the last 12 years. It's like there's kind of like junkie yoga, you know, where it's just like, you know, when the shit hits you real good, you find yourself in poses that normally you'd never be able to do. But you are so relaxed due to like the amount of opiates that are in your system that, like, you know, your spine is extra flexible, you know, like you can do like the full like T pose and everything, or not T. It's like an A, I guess, whatever. You know what I mean? Yeah, junkie yoga. Yeah, that's what I meant. Oh, shit, he like caught me so off guard with that comment. I like choking half to death. It's free real estate. I mean, like, kind of free, I guess. I don't know. The cost.
You gotta pay for the t-shirts.
The cost of your soul, like,
well, those aren't real. So
the entry may like doing that. May send you to hell if they're it, like, you know, I mean, like, if you believe in it, I do. I'm not trying to go to hell.
I don't want to go there.
Like, yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to wind up in hell. We will not be doing that.
Well, we're gonna make, as long as these T-shirts are union printed, I'm all good.
All right. Union printed, but we are handing them out to people. Like,
hey, we're giving people someone a free T-shirt.
Slow dying.
I don't know what the problem is here. I don't know what the problem is here.
The United States.
I mean, they've stated that they want to bring down the West. They want to bring down democracy. They want to bring down Western culture. They've stated they want to bring everybody under Sharia law. We don't want that. We want to be free people and believe in our democracy and our freedom.
Define Sharia law. Define it. Go ahead. Anyone? Define Sharia. Has anybody?
There's no one here that's going to respond.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's not even just anyone here, right? It's not even just anyone here, right? Anytime you ask anybody to actually define Sharia law, you're not going to get a good answer. You're not going to get an answer. Nobody knows what the fuck.
So I just saw you got in a little altercation with some of these people out here.
He's telling these cops that they're fucking jagoffs, all right? I was out here just to be peaceful.
I was out here just to be peaceful.
I was just coming out drunk as hell. I was just walking around drunk as shit, and he said something mean to that cop, and I decided it's my fucking responsibility to do something
You see, man, I'm here on business, and I was up in my hotel room drinking out of my red Solo cup because the bar is too fucking expensive, man, and I just came down here to see what was going on, man.
I can't legally drive anymore, so you know what I mean? Like, it's like,
I don't know. Laws might be different in Chicago from the driving that we saw, but like,
I haven't seen my kids in years, and
fuck it, what do I have to live for?
Yeah, I got my pajama pants and my red cup out here, and I fucking said, no, fuck that.
And these guys can't disrespect the cops. I don't know what they're being mean to the police officer.
An embroidery of the IDF and Israeli police.
What's the IDF?
The Israeli Defense Forces, which is a ploy for Israeli offense and colonial forces.
And this is the same protester that caused chaos.
Okay, are we at like 50-50 right now that did he actually not know what the IDF was?
Not a chance in hell.
I really don't think he did.
Like, he asked, what is the IDF? And I'm just curious, like, because like even like the most like cursory understanding of anything, you don't really have to ask a follow-up to that. It's not necessary for your audience or anything like that. You really don't have to say like anything more about it.
I think there's very few people like Destiny that will literally just take a position with zero background information only because like he heard that like, whatever alleged opponent that he has in his mind, he just needs to take the opposite approach of it. But I don't know. I mean, like, this kid asks the same questions and keeps getting like multiple answers from the same people. So I don't know. Could be.
But not only that, look, now he's trying to say that person he was talking to was also at this other protest, trying to make it seem more manufactured. And it's like, dude, the DNC was multiple days long. We were all there. You were there. I was there. We stayed in hotels and shit so that we could be a part of this thing, whether for content or for purpose or for moral reasons. Like, you can't really be that like surprised when you see somebody multiple times. Like, we were all there.
This is gonna break loose.
Gonna break loose.
It's gonna break loose pretty soon.
I can't wait.
Now notice how the leaders of this protest each have masks on as they are too afraid to show their own face. But rather their job is to organize and lead these protesters eventually to...
Well, technically one of them was actually wearing a KN95, so like, better protesters than
fire safety.
Yeah, well, I mean, not even just fire safety, but like COVID safety.
Yeah.
Go against the police. And now we will move forward as they start their march onto the police officers, and this is where I personally get attacked by one of these protesters.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here. I'm protesting. We're representing our rights as Americans. It's crazy to see them have this much power against us.
And now we'll see if they continue all the way to the police. Let's see what happens right now.
Streets are for the people, not you. Just stay peaceful. If they touch us, keep it tight, keep it tight.
What are you guys gonna do? What are you guys gonna do?
Keep it tight, keep it tight. Keep it tight, keep it tight.
This is the main leader right here.
Get out of the way. Keep it tight, keep it tight. Yo, get out of the way.
Where are you guys marching to?
Keep it tight, keep it tight.
This is in this country.
That was the attack.
Right now.
That was the attack. He knocked the little mic, the little lav mic out of his hand. That's the attack that he received.
Dude, like that was you being attacked. My friend, Do you have a bruise? No.
His wrist is shattered.
I understand that might have been a little rude of the protester, but you know, you have to understand you were really bothering him, and you have to like, I feel like talking to this kid like he's literally a 4-year-old. I mean, like, you know, you're really like, you know, you need to give him some space. Like, people have been patient with you like literally all day at this point, you know, like, I don't know, like, you don't really seem like you want to listen to these people, like, especially the way you ask the questions. And then even in your presentation here that we're seeing afterwards, you cut them off in weird spots to even like really try and fit in with a narrative. I just don't understand it. Like, you know, he's even like, this is clearly after he knocked it out of your hand. And I don't know, you're using the microphone still. And could it just be that you're like not able to manage your big feelings?
I think that's what might be more hurt than anything on him physically. I think that his fifis have been irreparably damaged from the mean words that were said towards him and the little bit of spit that came out of an old woman's mouth as she yelled at him when he refused to get away from her. And let's not forget about that sign that came dangerously close into his periphery. That was very scary. The paper sign, that must have been very scary. And then after essentially harassing an individual for what appeared to be, you know, many, many different instances, he got his fucking microphone knocked out of his hand because somebody was just tired of hearing it. He had no respect for someone's personal space or their unwillingness to speak to him, and he got his little baby microphone knocked out of his little baby hands.
Act like a child. You're eventually going to get scolded like one.
Keep it tight, keep it tight.
Hey.
I think the irony being that Mr. Nick Shirley here probably has no problem with spanking.
The guys in the green hats that you in your own video have already established are members of the National Lawyers Guild.
I really want these people to fucking rot in jail because I'm for freedom.
Doesn't make any sense.
Took down the main.
I want the state to disappear these people into the dungeons.
That's right, officer. Take him away.
He's the one that hit my microphone.
I fucking hate this
Take
kid.
him to a dungeon. I don't care if his family doesn't know where he's at. Nobody needs to know where he's at. He broke the law.
Also, I mean, it's always even questionable if they even broke the law.
Yeah.
At this
I know, right?
Yeah, like even like I think it's so murky if they even broke the law, and that's probably why there's a lawyers guild there to make sure that civil rights are not being abused.
Dude didn't even break his fucking mic. I mean, honestly, I feel like,
It's still working.
like, you know, this is purely a joke, but like, you know, if you're gonna get locked up, at least like smash this dude's fucking mic, stomp on it, like, you know, prevent any more of this fucking like
save us.
This carbon monoxide in audio visual form from like continuing to be like pumped out onto the internet.
Now, later a friend sent me a post on X identifying the protester as one of the main leaders
He calls
of an
it X.
organization based in Queens, New York. So what was he doing in Chicago?
So now the protesters out here yelling out his numbers, and then he is.
Bro, it's wild. You're not allowed to leave anywhere.
If you're
for
from
any
Queens,
reason.
you better stay there. Don't let me catch you. Don't let me catch you anywhere else. He would probably shit his pants if he knew I flew in from Philadelphia.
Imagine the look on his face if I said I was from New Jersey.
He wouldn't have been able to believe it. I don't think he could have stomached that.
How could you have left New Jersey to come out here? How?
Who funded that? Who could have funded this? What dark cabal of nefarious individuals could have financed you coming here for this huge political event that I'm also at, that I also traveled to be at?
Yeah, this dude from Utah. What's this dude from Utah doing here? I thought this was a Chicago only event.
Like,
the former senator from California? What the fuck is she doing here?
Kamala Harris.
Yeah, wait, yeah. What about all the other like delegates and shit that are there? Like, how does he think they got there? Like,
all professional fucking protesters. What the fuck?
Yeah. It doesn't make any fucking sense. This kid's logic isn't holding up.
And so they're giving out all these numbers. So these people are taking the notes of the protesters that are now arrested, so that way they can call in and try to bail them out once they're arrested inside the police station.
Look, Johnny, look who it is.
Wow.
Police! Those are the terrorists! They're the ones who killed my husband!
You sound like you got something to say.
I've got something to say.
I want to hear it.
My name is Leave on. You.
So what do you think about these protesters getting arrested here at the protest?
I think it's a bunch of bullshit. And before my husband died, he would always say the police and the government are the actual terrorists in this country.
So do you think these protesters should be able to push back at the police officers and receive no repercussions?
Depends on what kind of pushback. I didn't see any violence over there. But they also hotboxed them to where they couldn't go anywhere, and then they start grabbing people. That's what they do. Now
Do you think these protesters should know that they're obviously coming here and they know that something's going to happen, and their whole idea, the goal is to make their voices known, and they've known that if they
have every right to.
Oh, can you learn how to fucking speak without fucking stuttering through every fucking thing? Like, when you go off the script, even for a second, you can't even put a coherent thought together.
No.
Like, it sounded like he was almost trying to be like, well, they knew something was going to happen and they want their voice to be heard. It's like, yeah, legal, constitutionally protected American protests. You know what I mean? Like, that thing that you're describing, like the thing that's not supposed to be cracked down on by an authoritarian police department. It's like he can't even stick to the script of his narrative.
Yeah. And it's also like, it's really funny to me because like he hates mainstream media. That's partially why he set up this channel to cover these things. And he's like, part of the reason why he hates mainstream media, and, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know this guy, but that they have a narrative, they have a bias that they're trying to push. And like, he literally can't just like get this woman's story. He has to like ask her a question about his like pet issue here. Like, he's like, I want to hear what you have to say. And then he's like, oh, well, you're like, don't you think these protesters actually should be punished for this stuff? Like, don't you actually agree with me? Like, please validate me. Please validate me. Like,
but he's very not
it's
good.
Like,
when he asks his questions, he's good because he hasn't prepared. But then when he gets into one of these things, I don't know if you notice, he turns into a stammering, stuttering, like, everything is very disjointed when he gets off the script. He's not very good at this.
Not very nimble.
No.
He doesn't have like the mental elasticity to really be doing this job.
I mean, there's a reason why he's a YouTuber and not a streamer. I mean, we talk about who's got the better skills here. Streamers are better at this.
You know how many screens and sliders and buttons and shit I have in front of me? You don't have any idea how much shit I have to fucking keep track of all at once with like, I can't even imagine if I had like more chatters in this room right now saying things all at once.
Have altercations with the police officers, they're most likely going to get arrested, and they're playing that game.
Right. It does play right into their hands. This is what they want. They want to hotbox everybody, and they want to get the opportunity to hurt somebody because they have qualified immunity. And as long as they have qualified immunity and they can sit there like a bunch of chickens and go, oh, I fear for my life, they can get away with whatever the hell they want to do. It's bullshit. It is absolute bullshit.
So what should the police do?
What should the police do?
Yeah, in these situations, what should the police do?
They wouldn't need qualified immunity if the police were conducting themselves appropriately in their chosen positions. But because they can't conduct themselves appropriately, they are protected by qualified immunity so they can get away with anything. That's bullshit. We need to revamp this entire system. Not only these fools, the whole system, the government, everything. They're all together.
And once again,
Really? After saying you backed the blue to that cop when shit looked like it was about to get rough, you're not going to push back on any of that?
Has he found a single person that like remotely agrees with him and what he's doing?
No.
The Zionist lady.
Maybe the Zionist lady. She might be the only one that
She's
was like, yeah, dude, fuck these guys.
Closest one. But even then, I don't know. He's got like such like a loose, vague sort of like.
Here, let these last seconds play. I want to play my interview with him.
Again, here are the people in the green hats trying to bail out and trying to get all the information from the protesters. And notice when I try to ask them what they're doing, they can't speak to me. So what's your guys' job here? I can't talk to you. And now that they have arrested all the main organizers of the protest, it's left here. It's a complete mess. All their banners and all their signs.
It's not even that big of a mess.
Dude, Chicago was clean as fuck.
Bro, let me take you to Philly after a Phillies game or a fucking Eagles game or some shit like that, dude. I'll show you some shit that gets fucked up. Like this is an ordinary night all in Center City with a couple fucking flyers laying on the ground. Yeah, there's like 2 pieces of paper. He's like, look at it. Dude, I think he really came thinking that he was going to get some like crazy war zone footage and everything was just like mild arrests, mild pushing, some yelling, some people that don't even really attack him, but he claims that they attacked him, and then like some flyers on the ground. For the amount of people that were out in the street, if that's all that's on the ground there, that is incredible self-control from the people that were there to not litter.
Yeah. I mean, like, let's be real. This guy's a Karen. He's a Karen.
He's like the son of a Karen. He's not even a Karen himself. He's kind of too mild mannered. At least a Karen could like put some bass in her voice and like really start like.
He falls apart. He can't even like ask like a follow-up question in line with his narrative.
Right.
Because as evidenced by the fact that he had to cut his question out from the other guy earlier who when he asked him about how far they came, like he asked them in the wrong order. Like he didn't, I don't know. Hey, you want some tips on how to do this better? Like, ease into people, dude. Ask them some other questions before you ask them if they're paid protesters. You want to get totally shut out right away? Do exactly what you did. Like,
right.
I don't know, man. You hate mainstream media because they have a bias against conservatives, but like, all you did was make a piece of media that is your bias, dude. You're no different than them.
No. Let's let these last seconds play out here.
Oh man, what do you think about all these people out here today? What do you think about all these people out here? This guy's been
Yeah, wait,
about what's actually
happening?
happening at these protests and how it is actually an organized thing, as our people literally there plan to try to bail these people out, and they're getting paid by other organizations to become protesters. Thank you so much for watching this video.
People bust into January 6th, bro. Bust.
This is Nick, and I will see you next video.
All right. So that's the end of that video. So now here's a special little treat. Johnny, if you open up the other video that I sent you and you go to the 1 hour, 11 minute and 3 second mark, we may have an interesting meeting of minds here that is going to blow everybody away.
Oh man, what do you think about all these people out here today?
What's that?
What do you think about all these people out here? This guy's been out here
I don't
screaming
know.
on the
There's not
corner.
that many people. I'm surprised how few people are outside of the DNC right now.
I know, right
to be
now there's
honest,
not really anybody.
Yeah, I just saw Charlie Kirk like over there, and it's pretty wild.
What are you in support of today? Who do you support? Donald Trump? Kamala?
I have a very difficult time choosing a political candidate for a number of reasons, but I would say that I would be leaning towards Kamala, even though I actually can't vote legally.
Why can't you vote?
I was convicted of a felony when I was 19.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you mind me asking what felon?
Oh, yeah, sure. I was arrested for felony theft at 19 years old.
And at what point does that get expunged or erased off your...
It depends on what state you're in, really. And I've moved around to a couple states since then. I think in certain states I can get my voting privileges restored, but it hasn't happened yet.
What'd you steal?
I was on drugs when I was 19. I've been sober for over a decade at this point. So when I was 19, I broke into a bunch of cars and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And what do you... since you have been sober, you said over 10 years, right?
Yeah.
And like I've been to places, I've been all around the country. I've been to Kensington, I've been to Seattle.
I live in Philadelphia.
I've been everywhere. What's going on with how do they stop the spread of fentanyl here in America? Because it is literally killing thousands upon thousands of people, and nobody talks about it.
I think time's proven that prohibition and criminalization has been somewhat ineffective. It didn't work with alcohol. It hasn't worked in many circumstances. You know, I'm not a professional or like an expert on it, but I think I am actually a professional. I don't know why the data is pretty sound.
What?
I am actually a professional. I don't know why I said that. And conclusive that it needs to be treated like a public health issue and a mental health issue more so than a criminalized issue.
But so, do you think there's anything like one of these candidates could do to try and stop the spread of fentanyl? Like, all right, we got to crack down on these cartels that are coming into America.
Well, I think that, and you can look back to the situation.
Do you
with
think Donald Trump is right?
As well, it's a little bit different. It's transformed to fentanyl now, but it seems that like as long as there is a ravenous market that will consume drugs, drugs will get here. So I think you need to fix the problem here, whatever is causing the mental health and the public health issues that is causing addiction. I think if you fix that, then there will be no more market to bring in illegal fentanyl.
And do you think if they, for instance, if they were stricter on crime and they actually like arrested the criminals instead of like doing the catch and release thing, do you think that'd slow people down from selling drugs?
I think that's like a statistic issue. It doesn't seem that that's happened. It seems like we've criminalized it for decades and it hasn't stopped it.
Mm-hmm. So do you think if they just arrest one person, the next person underneath him is just going to start doing
Here's the problem with arresting, right? So I've been arrested for possession of heroin. I've been arrested for possession of cocaine. I've also been arrested for possession of marijuana.
Yeah.
When I went to jails, I met real criminals, and I was also labeled as a felon, what puts me in a criminal class. So when I'm put into a criminal class, I can't get certain housing, I can't get certain jobs, and I can't do certain things. So I'm marginalized from community, I'm marginalized from the community in many ways because I was a sick and addicted person. And I think that only pushes people into this like criminal class more so than maybe if we found a way to treat substance abuse in a way that is more humane.
And I guarantee you, I almost promise that there's somebody watching this video right now that is going through addiction.
Yeah.
What's the number one step to get? What's the number one? What would be your suggestion to get rid of that addiction? Like how? So the number one step.
What is the number one what?
Step.
What's your number one tip for getting over addiction?
Number one. The
top 10 list of
the number one on the top 10 of the of getting to stop the.
I think it's awesome that it's on the live stream, so he was like really trapped into not like cutting you off in editing, you know.
The first thing is just knowing that it is better on the other side. Like when you go down to that, whether you're suffering from trauma, whether you're suffering from relationship issues, whether you just can't like find friends or anything like that, you know, you can find communities of people that are in recovery that can show you how to live a better life. So really you just have to find the other people that are living the life that you want to live. You can do that through Narcotics Anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, religious groups, whatever really can find you that social inclusion that is going to help relieve you of what is driving you to use drugs obsessively and compulsively. And there is hope.
Awesome, I appreciate it. There is hope.
Have a good day, man.
You too, brother. Appreciate it.
Aw. He does owe you another debate.
Excuse me, sir. Yeah, a moment really quick.
That was a great bit of content you gave him, you know? I feel like
I don't think I do think that, and like I'm just saying here, like I think he wanted to be like this hard on fentanyl, hard on China, super criminalization guy, but I don't think I gave him an angle to do it, and he just bailed. You know what I mean? Like I think he was like, actually, this isn't the right thing. I don't think I should be having this conversation. I'm gonna bail out and go talk to this guy with the ponytail or something.
No, I get that. He wanted to leave the minute you like weren't on his side about Donald Trump and closing the border and all that stuff. Like, he is so obviously like it's like. Yeah, it's just so badly done because it's so obvious. Like he is out there fishing for like people to be like, "Oh, I agree with you," or you were like he's looking for two things: people to agree with him on the street,
or people that are unhinged disagreeing with him, like get the fuck out of here, get the fuck out of here, like something like that to make people look crazier than they are. Thank you. Thank you, Bert. Thank you, Hemmel. Thank you, Squared, for the nice words. I'm working on my public appearances these days. Apparently, I'm working on my on-camera presence.
And I think your answer that he left you on, your answer was really good. Finding community, you know.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Yeah, man. Why doesn't he fucking upload this into a regular video? All right.
I don't know. I guess he wants people to stay addicted.
No. They're your enemies. Don't treat them like that and fight them, and you'll get your freedom. My repertoire is USSR. Be-a-low style, got thrown out the car. Rise with subversive plots. They'll call you an extremist or subversive or red radical. Rise with subversive plots. Red radical. Capitalism and democracy, capitalism and democracy are not synonymous. We group us up like ants in a colony. Organize the wealth into a socialist economy. A way of life based off the common needs. And all my comrades is ready, we can spread the seed. And all my comrades is ready, we can spread the seed.